Donald Trump wants to get serious on terrorism, or at least he wants to get serious on a very specific sort of terrorism that is not the white right-wing kind of terrorism that unfortunately kills far more people in the U.S. than any sort of religious-based Middle Eastern terrorism. And he's willing to bend government programs to his will to focus on one rather than the other. In this video, we're going to talk about the CVE program, which as of today is the Countering Violent Extremism program. Today, but perhaps not for long, because they are talking about changing it to the Countering Islamic Extremism program, or the Countering Radical Islamic Extremism program, which is weird because I feel like if you say radical Islamic terror, you don't need that program, you've already cured the problem. But anyway, once they do that, they will change it as a program from targeting groups that include Islamic terror, other forms of religious terrorism, but also including white supremacists who have carried out bombings and shootings in the United States. That's what it's been doing, the full breadth of terrorism inside of the U.S. It will no longer do that. It will stop focusing on right-wing terrorism, white terrorism, Christian terrorism, white nationalist terrorism, and instead only focus on Islamic terrorism.
Well, that's good, because it's not like, you know, a white guy went into a black church in Charleston. It was a Muslim guy who went into a black church and ruthlessly tortured and killed innocent individuals who were in the middle of a prayer session, right? It was a Muslim guy.
Well, it's terrible that a Muslim guy would pretend to be a white guy. And do that.
Yeah, it is
weird.
Weird.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Now, a little bit more details about the program. The CVE program aims to deter groups or potential lone attackers through community partnerships and education programs or counter messaging campaigns in cooperation with companies such as Google and Facebook. We've previously covered those sorts of programs on the Young Turks, and they help to diffuse potential extremists before they ever become extremists. And we will never know when it works because those people don't commit acts of terrorism, but they are an important tool in helping to fight it. Now, Trump is not the only person who's opposed to this program. Some Republicans in Congress have long assailed the program as politically correct and ineffective, asserting that singling out and using the term radical Islam as the trigger for many violent attacks would help focus deterrence efforts. Some proponents of the program fear that rebranding it in the way that the Trump administration wants to do would make it even more difficult for the government to work with Muslims who are already worried about the Trump administration and don't trust it, particularly after the Muslim travel ban. But as Anna pointed out, there's another reason why you might not want to stop covering or investigating or looking into non-Islamic forms of terrorism. We have decided to limit it to one graphic, and so if you can bring up graphic 35, you're going to see the Charleston shooting, which happened at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church. You have very recently the Quebec City mosque that was shot up. You have the Jewish Community Center shot up. Planned Parenthood done by a Christian, someone who's driven by their Christian beliefs to kill people who want to get abortions. You have the Umpqua Community College shooting. Some of these I've since forgotten about because they're so common in this country.
There was also the shooting that happened at UC Santa Barbara a few years ago. That was...
He was a Muslim, right?
No, actually, he wasn't a Muslim.
That's weird, yeah. No, he was driven by his anti-woman views, actually.
Look, okay, so here's the thing. If you are an individual who's genuinely concerned about terrorism, then you wouldn't just focus on one type of terrorism. You would be concerned about the American people and everyone's safety, and you would focus on all types of terrorism, all types of bad hombres in the country that might carry out acts of violence, right? And so here's the thing, the country, the government in particular, has a long history of completely ignoring right-wing extremism. And recent examples include a DHS report that was released under the Bush administration in 2006. This is before Obama was elected, okay? 2006, Department of Homeland Security finds out, hey, you know what? We kind of have a rise of right-wing extremism here in the country. We have white nationalists, we have members of the KKK, we have individuals who refer to themselves as sovereign citizens carrying out, or at least planning to carry out, acts of violence, and we need to do something to stop it. The report gets released, and guess what happens? The right wing is outraged that the government would ever call them out on any type of extremism or any type of terrorist activity. So what do? They pressured the DHS to retract the report, not even retract it, but basically pretend like it doesn't exist anymore, right? And then the group of individuals within the Department of Homeland Security that was tasked at focusing on right-wing extremism in the country was disbanded, and only one person was left. One person to focus on that very big problem in this country, right? And then The Intercept just published a really great piece about how the FBI has been very quietly investigating this, and they're not releasing reports. The Intercept had to use the Freedom of Information Act in order to get information about this FBI report. And they found very specific instances of white supremacists infiltrating local police departments in an effort to get intel on whether or not there are investigations on them, and also have an influence on the type of excessive force that's used against certain minority communities. So this is actual evidence. This is not speculation. This is based on intel by the Department of Homeland Security in 2006, again, under a Republican president, and also the FBI, which has been investigating this for quite some time now. But it doesn't matter. We're going to ignore that, and we're only going to focus on Muslims. And by the way, I do want to focus on Muslim extremists, but I also want to focus on all extremists, because I genuinely care about the safety of Americans. But that's not what this administration cares about. They only care about appearing to be strong and very clearly against Muslims, because they fear-mongered so long enough that Americans are pissing in their pants as soon as they hear the word Islam, because that's the only thing that's worth being concerned about.
Yeah, and so I remember we covered when they got the program to back off of the investigation in that way. I mean, this is one of the cases where I would have said, I don't give a fuck what they want us to do. No, this is a threat. We're going to continue to investigate it. But now we have further pushing away from any concern for these sorts of attacks. And this is the thing. After this goes into effect, if they actually do it, and right now it's a draft, perhaps if people fight back against this, contact the lawmakers, we can stop it from happening. But if they do get rid of it, and then later down the line, a year, 2 years, 5 years, somebody blows up a community center or an abortion clinic or something like that, we will never know that it was linked to the destruction of this program, but those people will have lost their lives all the same. And this is why you do not allow white nationalists, white supremacist bigots to take over the country.
You know who created journalism you could be proud of? You did. Our audience helped us hire an investigative reporting team. Now we're going to go for a second. tytnetwork.com/go. Let's build the best reporting team in the country together.